This guy has a humiliation fetish. If you weren't here before, his name is Peyton. He's currently in the middle of his undergrad at the same university where I got my undergrad and my master's degree. He disagrees with a lot of what I have to say. And this time, there's a lot for me to disprove. Well, look, I'm in the video. The same way it works with insulin and fat gain. Yes, it can cause you to gain fat, but in order to gain fat, you have to be in a calorie surplus.
It's not just about calories in and calories out. You need two things to gain fat: calories and insulin. If you remove either one, you won't gain weight.
Yes, if you remove calories, you will starve. And if you remove insulin entirely, you won't be able to access the glucose that's in your blood and you won't get the calories from it. This is called diabetes.
If you lower calories, insulin drops too. That's why fasting or starvation leads to fat loss.
No, they lead to fat loss because you aren't eating any calories.
If you lower insulin and calories stay high, you still won't gain fat. This is how ketogenic and carnivore diets work.
This is not true. You can still gain weight on keto and carnivore because one, you are still eating calories, and two, your body still releases insulin when you eat protein. It's not just carbohydrates that cause that. So even if insulin was the only driver of fat gain, it is still there.
And if you raise both, you'll gain weight.
Correct, because you are eating more calories.
Here's what most people miss. You can raise insulin alone without changing calories and still gain weight. In a 1993 metabolic ward study on type 1 diabetics by Carlson and Campbell, participants ate the exact same number of calories before and after increasing their insulin doses. They gained about 2.5 kilograms, almost all fat, simply because insulin went up. Same calories, more insulin, more fat.
Let me tell you why that happened. This study was done on 6 people with type 1 diabetes, which means that they are reliant on insulin to be able to access the glucose in the food that they eat because their body can't produce insulin naturally. And what happens when you aren't treating it properly, you aren't taking enough insulin, is your body starts to pee out some of that glucose because it stays in your blood and it can't get into the cells. Basically, there's no insulin to open that gate and let the energy in, and it's a condition called glycosuria. It's very serious. And if you were to take a look at the abstract of the study, you'd see between the two groups, the normal insulin therapy and the intensive insulin therapy, the latter almost eliminated glycosuria. So what does that mean? It means they actually treated their diabetes properly and now they have access to that sugar.
Now look at type 1 diabetics who underdose insulin. They can eat whatever they want and still lose weight. Because without enough insulin, glucose has a harder time entering the cell. It spills out into the urine and gets excreted. Diabulimia. It's dangerous, but it proves a point.
Yes, it proves the point that you can exploit your disease into an eating disorder.
Without insulin, you cannot store fat, even in a calorie surplus.
I think at this stage in the debate, it's important to look back upon why we are even talking about this in the first place. It all started because Peyton disagreed with me and he said that diet sodas will still make you fat because of insulin even though they have 0 calories. But I fail to see how any tiny minor insulin release caused by drinking a diet soda compares at all to type 1 diabetics who are not properly treating their disease. So yes, you do need insulin to get the sugar from the blood into your cells so you can use it for energy. But drinking a diet soda is not the same as using insulin as a therapy for a disease. So a Diet Coke is not going to make you fat.